signed in. I want to thank you for joining another Lunch and Learn webinar series with Scanco. I'm Ross Allen, your host today. If we have not had the pleasure of meeting before, I'm on the current customer team and one of the account managers. I've been with Scanco a little over 9 years now. Just to kind of let you know, this is going to be a monthly series we're going to be doing. We started this back in April, and we're going to be kind of rolling through every month different topics. In fact, we would love to hear from you guys. So please email me, call me, hit us up on LinkedIn. If there's any particular topics you want to hear about, they're all going to be about a 30-minute lunch and learn, covering various different topics in the world of logistics and warehousing and manufacturing. And today we're going to actually be focusing on sales. So I did promise to get you out of here in 30 minutes, so let's go ahead and get started. So for those who do not know anything about Scanco or who are newly introduced to us, we've been around for a little over 30 years now as an OEM developer with Sage. And, we've been really focused on over the last 30 years, really kind of on the logistical side and manufacturing side. So we have our warehouse automation software, we have manufacturing automation, we have our multi-bin, we have job ops, we have production management, a lot of different things, right? But a couple of years ago, we decided to kind of break outside the stereotypical four walls of the building and get out into the mobile world, the sales world. And I think that's kind of more pertinent now than ever. Over the last year, I think we've all kind of felt some of the strains of COVID. If you listen to the news, it's gloom and doom, but really in our industry, the people that are the boots on the ground, business is booming. And this last year has literally been just a fire drill and just kind of all hands on deck. So now things are kind of, starting to kind of catch up, and everyone's kind of starting to get into a rhythm and groove. We've really, the one biggest strain I think that we've all had is personnel, and then also the supply chain issue. I think it's really, taken a strain, and we've all faced many challenges. It basically demand's outgrowing what we actually have in stock, and it's exceeding the supply. And really that's kind of a key thing that we're going to be, keying in today. So, some of the, topics we're going to be covering are going to be, what have you guys been asking, or what have you been hearing? What are some of the pains in the sales world? So we're going to kind of highlight some of those, and then we're going to kind of, then go into what our Scanco Sales product is, who is it for, who can use it. It's a lot more than just a salesperson. I'll tell you that much. I'll give you that hint. And why is it needed? And then we're going to go into some of the base functionality or core functionality, quick demo of it, and then we'll get into some Q&A. So what are some of the things that we've been hearing from a pain point, or what have our partners or our customers been asking is like with all software, can we implement it and scale easily? 100% yes. Really, you get out of it what you put into it. If you're familiar with our software platforms, the majority of them from the distribution and manufacturing side, all outside of Sage. They're all app-based, but talk in real time to Sage. So implementation is a fairly simplistic process. It's pretty straightforward. There's training, but included as well. But also the multi-bin software also is another piece to implement that actually resides inside of Sage, and so does some of our manufacturing pieces. But just like with all of our software, it's meant to scale easily. You can focus on some of your core needs, and then as your needs grow, you can add on either functionality or additional licenses or devices, etc. So 100% easy to scale. Paperless. This has been a big thing now. I think a lot of companies in the past have been really paper heavy and are now trying to go paper light, really for a couple main reasons. One, there's a lot of green initiatives now, and a lot of companies are trying to save money on paper. Paper does slow down things. It can easily get lost or misplaced. It's always nice to have a hard copy backup in some instances, but for the most part, we want to go paperless, especially now with people being able to, get away from receipts and everything be either emailed to you or, sign on a screen or, et cetera, right? Germs is a big thing with the whole COVID thing. So something easy to type down or wipe down. And like I said, paper gets lost, paper gets misplaced, et cetera. So paperless is a huge thing. And a lot of our applications do allow for that, whether it's, pick sheets on screen, or in this case, since we're focusing on sales orders and invoices emailed or being able to be sent electronically. Flexible. What do I mean by that? So flexible is kind of a multifaceted thing, but really when you're in the field, you want to be able to be flexible, whether that's order taking or changing orders or updating orders or having some things real time. Right now, since we're focusing on the sales piece, a lot of the sales or delivery drivers or technicians out in the field They really don't have a whole lot of flexibility. If they're lucky, they have some sort of laptop to be connected to, and that's about it. But if they have to make changes in the system, they either have to call in, or if they have to update an order, they have to scratch something out, update it, and hopefully they have stock for it. So there's not a whole lot of flexibility when you're not connected from a mobile standpoint, right? And then more so now than ever, we're really focusing on keeping customers and growing business and preventing returns and building trust with our customers, right? At the end of the day, our customers really help us with our bottom line, but we're also forging strong bonds and relationships. A lot of our customers here at Scanco and a lot of our partners that we work with in the channel are like family to us. Some of you guys we've known for decades, and we love those relationships and want to keep them. And then as far as returns, that's a big thing, right? So a lot of our companies now, because of lead times on supply is longer than normal. Supply is golden, and having what you have in stock is what you need, and you want to prevent returns, because either it's going to be a costly venture, you're going to lose trust with your partners or your customers, or in the other sense, you might not have the proper stock for something. So preventing returns and having accurate orders is key. So, when we focus on the functionality and kind of going back, we're going to be hitting back on these 4 points through this process. So who is it for? So when you think of our sales product, immediately you think of salespeople. And you know what? You are 100% accurate. When we originally developed this, we developed it with the mindset of having sales executives or account managers or reps out in the world looking for, getting new business and being able to create sales orders or quotes or gather new business and update information. 100% yes. But after we started implementing a lot with his customers, we found that the use was just not on the sales side, right? Getting sales orders in the system or updating them or updating customers and contacts, but also for delivery drivers. So a lot of our customers are using this today, are using it for their field-based technicians or delivery drivers. Because if you think about it, a delivery driver is driving out and delivering the open sales orders or open invoices. And so a lot of our customers are treating those as, if you have our multi-bin software, like a staged bin location. So the truck is actually a bin and they're delivering from, right? So delivery drivers love this. In fact, we even have a setting within our application set just for delivery drivers. So they don't have to worry about pricing, they don't have to worry about adjusting anything. They just collect signature and go. And then field-based techs, this is huge now. We've seen a big surge in this need, because at the end of the day, field-based techs are literally rolling warehouses. They're carrying stock on their trucks. They want to be easily able to pull something off, keep tabs of not only what they have in stock on their truck, it's a rolling warehouse, maybe see if there's if they're out of something, look up other warehouses or other truck facilities and see if there's anything else on those trucks they can actually transfer product off of, being able to sell off their trucks, etc. So it's gone a lot further outside of that normal sales bubble, and it's gone to drivers, field-based techs. Oil industry is huge. Anybody that's in the service industry is huge. Air conditioning repairmen or plumbers or whomever, right? Big in this industry now. And why is it needed? So, one of the things we talked about is being able to be to build that relationship with our customers, prevent returns, having flexibility. So that really comes down to closing that sales cycle. So typically, if you're not using any mobile technology, the typical sales cycle can be, 24, 48, 36 hours, we found, or more. Because if you think about it, someone is in the field collecting an order or getting quotes or trying to garner new business. And if they did, great, but that's all they're doing all day long. And then if they do get any orders, if they have a laptop and are connecting to the internet, if they have time, they might enter it in, but generally speaking, it's going to get kind of put aside till either the end of the day or the next day. So you've lost the ability to get an order in quickly, actually maybe get it out and shipped and picked and delivered, maybe sometimes in the same day. So instead of, that 8 to 24 or even 36 hour gap, we're trying to cut that down into now minutes. And we found that that's a huge time saver. I mean, a lot of our customers have saved over 75% of the sales cycle time by cutting that in half or even more by doing this. Calls to the office, right? So, again, this kind of goes back to being flexible and having a more professional experience with your customers and building that bond, right? When you're with a customer, you might only have a few minutes with them, right? If you're either delivering something or, in this fact, trying to get an order out of them. And so to put them aside, go walk outside the office and call your office to see if something's in stock. That's not one, a very professional sales experience. You're taking away their precious time, and you're also taking away time on your office end, right? So someone on your side got to answer the phone, whether that's an accounting or warehouse or whatever has to run out. So, you might be on hold for 10 to 15 minutes trying to find this. Someone's trying to locate product for you. Meanwhile, you're eating up your customer's time. And that really kind of flows into a more professional purchasing experience. So instead of, whipping out a steno pad and jotting things down and hoping you got the order right, or getting on a laptop and trying to get on your customer's Wi-Fi or hotspot on your phone, you now have a mobile device. Because if you think about it, everyone carries a mobile computer in their back pocket, and that's a smartphone. People, take pictures, text, do videos, run apps on it. Well, why not do a normal business application, be able to take orders and update in your system? We're ordering food on it, right? Why can't we do this the same thing in our world? And being that you are on a cell phone, be it iOS or Android, even tablets, you have direct connection to the internet over cell data. So now you're directly connected into your Sage system. And then that really kind of flows into the access at your fingertips. So not only do you have access to real-time inventory levels, but open sales orders, possibly open invoices for your customers, their pricing, their address, their contacts, all of that. And then getting paid faster kind of flows into one, less returns, a better experience for your customers, and that flexibility we talked about before. So instead of that long sales cycle, imagine that if an order was put in, if you were out in the field, you took an order from your customer, it updates in Sage in 2 seconds. Someone can go pick it, ship it, and then sometimes it can get delivered that day or the next day. Or you have the ability, if you're a driver, to invoice your customer right on the fly. So let's kind of go over some of the core functionality. So on the forefront, it's an app, right? If you've used our warehouse or manufacturing apps, it's very simplistic to use. We want to keep things simple. We don't want to overcomplicate things in the field. So being able to create quotes and sales orders on the fly from scratch. Also being able to edit those. So if you did have any pre-created sales orders or quotes, you have the full flexibility to edit those. Kind of going back to the whole getting paid faster. So you do have the ability to, view any open or unpaid invoices. So, perhaps you can collect payment there with your customer at that point. And this is key, going back to viewing real-time inventory levels. So this goes back to, less returns, having that flexibility, and then really having a real focus on our supply chain. So, if you did promise your customer something, but you got at the time you had the stock, right? But by the time you entered the order that night or the next day, it's gone. Now your customer doesn't get the product that they hope they ordered. Now you can get this, you have the real-time inventory levels. You can get the order immediately and get it delivered to your customer immediately, and they can get the stock that they asked for. And, that's accessing customer info with these. So, especially over this past year, there's been a lot of change in hands of businesses. Either businesses are growing, they've had to let some people go, or maybe some new employees have come on. And so if you're out, now that, restrictions are being lifted, and now you have the ability to go into offices now or visit customers and have that one-on-one experience again, right? Now you have the ability to update their information. So if there is a new employee or a new address or, whatever that might be, new information, new address or website address, et cetera, you can update that and then have it updated in Sage immediately. Again, instead of writing down on pen and paper and trying to remember to put it in later, and it gets shipped to the wrong address because you forgot to enter it. That happens quite often. Now you can do that in real time. User profile. So if you're familiar with any of other Scanco products, we have the ability to have unique profiles per user that logs in. Remember, these are all device licenses, so you can actually have, when you log into a scanner or a phone within the application, you're not tied to that. You have the flexibility to be across any phone or device and share devices. We have a lot of companies that have multiple shifts of people, they share them, et cetera. It's perfect. So each person can have their own unique login and profile. Capturing signatures is huge. Again, this goes back to one of the pains of, building great relationship with your customers and preventing returns. So having that signature that the customer signed off on, that either they did get it on the delivery side or this is exactly what they ordered. And so that's kind of your contract between you and your customer. So by them signing off, that's them accepting that this is exactly what they want. So there's no ambiguity later on. And then we've recently added the functionality to email and print. So the email functionality has always been there. Printing on the Apple side, iOS could be AirPrint if you have an AirPrint printer in your truck. but now we now offer Zebra Bluetooth printing. So either on iOS or Android, if you are a field-based tech and you have to print something, some sort of ticket or some sort of receipt, and you had a Bluetooth Zebra mobile printer, you can print right to it, no problem. And then there is a surprise coming up shortly. We hopefully will be releasing it, I would say, in the next month or two. But this kind of goes back to getting paid faster. Is Scanco will be releasing a payment portion of Scanco Sales, so you will be able to collect payment in the field. So keep a lookout on LinkedIn and our social media and our newsletters that we send out. We will be when we do release it, everyone's going to know about it. So that is coming down the line. It's been asked about. People have been asking about it. We finally are at the point where we're now able to bring that functionality. We're very excited to announce it. So that's coming down the line. So as promised, let's go ahead and get into a little demonstration of the product. So we're going to roll through some of the application that we had talked about before. So as I mentioned, it is an app. So I'm on iOS today. And just like with any other app or any of our other applications, it resides as a native app on the device. So I'm going to go ahead and launch the application. And then we come right to the main login screen that we talked about before. Now remember, when I log in, this brings over my unique profile, my unique setting. You have shared devices. So I have a lot of companies that have multiple delivery drivers shifts throughout the day. They will have one company phone or a couple company phones that truck uses and shares. So anybody can log in and have that unique experience just for them. So once I log in, it brings us to our main splash screen. So as you can tell, and as you can see, it's a very easy to use app, just like all the other modules are right there. So instead of taking a complicated Sage, if I was remoting into a laptop out in the field, if you ever had an RDPN in the field on a laptop with spotty connection, you get a tiny little screen. And trying to navigate through Sage in this complicated mess is not too great in the field. So you want something easy to use at your fingertips. So all these modules correlate to a module in Sage. So at the bottom here, we'll kind of discuss the different applications. So the dashboard is simplistically just a overall view from if you're a sales manager and you want to see any open orders or invoices by a salesperson, that dashboard allows you to do that. Now, most of our applications within the warehouse use scanners to scan barcodes because we are a barcode scanning company. So we don't ever use the camera on the device in a warehouse. However, Scanco Sales is the only application that we have in our family of software that will be able to use the camera on your mobile device, tablet, as an actual scanner. So, because we found that scanning in the field is needed, is very, here or there. It's not all the time. So for those onesie twosie needs of scanning, the camera's great. The settings functionality is pretty unique. So it does allow for, like I said, you are on a cell phone, so the ability to be connected Wi-Fi or cellular is key. But we do have the ability to go offline, and we do have some sync features. So just like other parts of the United States, Florida, if you go east of the interstate, you're in the stick sometimes where there's no cell data. There's very little, any place to go for free Wi-Fi or anything else like that, or hotspot or whatever else you need. So for those instances where you do need to go offline, we do get that capability. So we'll be able to sync up open sales orders, invoices, and inventory. Now, you're not going to get that real-time inventory if you were connected, but you're going to get a pretty good snapshot idea. And if you did create orders or invoices while you were on an offline mode, as soon as you get connected, it does take those next orders in Sage, order numbers in Sage or invoice number in Sage, uploads, and goes right back in the system. The customers application will show all your different customers by division because you are set up as a salesperson. So if I had to edit any of the information, I could do that by just hitting edit. I have the ability to update contacts, email addresses, etc. Now, if I'm a new rep or if I'm new to the area and I don't have all the directions where all my customers at, or I'm taking over someone else's route for today, I can simply just click and hold, and it will pull up the address and directions to that customer on your map application that you have on your smart device. The inventory will show live inventory. It's going to show all my items within a certain warehouse that I do have a default warehouse and default company that I log into, so we'll show that inventory. If I click any one of these items, it'll fetch it, update it. It will show the description, standard price, and then all the quantity on hand and availability across those other warehouses. Now, rest assured, we do get this question asked sometimes is, well, what if my customer has special pricing? I'm worried about another customer seeing it. We will only show at this screen the standard price at a Sage. So it's the same for everybody. Now, if your customer does have unique pricing levels or unique discounts, when you do create a sales order invoice, it will recalculate in Sage and pull over their exact pricing and then multiply it out. So rest assured, we got you covered there. Open invoices is going to show any open and paid invoices, and our sales order functionality will let me see all open orders by customer, date range, etc. And then hitting this plus sign will actually let me create a new order within this application. So as I mentioned before, we're going to go ahead and actually do a proof of delivery. So there's a couple different ways that we can create new things, either new orders, quotes, customers, contacts. Proof of delivery is the actual invoicing functionality. So imagine if I was a delivery driver and I had my open sales order and I wanted to actually give my customer a true Sage invoice in the field. That's what proof of delivery does. It's proving the delivery. So anything in blue is an open sales order. So if I were to take this, it's going to take me to the sales order. Now, what's unique about this is I am going to actually be confirming what I'm delivering. So perfect case in point is you now have the flexibility to adjust the order as needed. So we get this a lot with our customers in the petroleum industry that have a customer that orders 40 gallons or 40 quarts or 40 liters of X amount of gasoline or petroleum or lube or whatever it might be. And they get to the customer site and the customer actually needs more or less than. So if I have the ability to give more than, I can adjust it out, or less than, I can actually adjust it out accordingly. So the customer is going to get exactly what they're supposed to have. Sometimes what they think they need is not actually what they actually need. So when I do confirm it, if I am a multi-bin customer, I have the ability to treat my truck as a bin location. So I just confirm the bin location I'm pulling it from, which is my bin, and then I'm going to confirm the quantity. I can either keep it the same or adjust it out accordingly. If I do adjust more than, if I have the ability, great, it's going to take it and adjust it to more than. If there is less than needed, the remainder is just going to stay on my truck. And if it was a physical entity that I had to transfer out, when I get back to my warehouse, I just transfer it off my truck as a bin or warehouse and transfer it back into my main facility as a bin transfer or a warehouse transfer. That's one of the cool things about if you do have our multi-bin software is it plays perfectly into keeping the trucks as mobile bin locations. So when the order is staged, it's actually staged on the truck. So if you were to go into Sage, you'd know where every order is staged at, whether it's physically in your warehouse at a staging bin or on one of the trucks that's out before delivery. So that goes back into the real time. So if a customer wants to know where the product's at, you can tell them, hey, it's out for delivery by truck driver X today. So once I go ahead and confirm the quantity, it's going to save it. I'm going to go ahead and capture my signature, my all-important signature for my customer, and I'm going to hit done. It's simple as that. It's going to ask me to save my work. It's going to update the lines and then kick back a real invoice in just a second. And when it does pop over the actual invoice, it's actually going to give me my actual invoice number and then give me the ability to print it out. So there's invoice 88, which is a real Sage invoice. As soon as I hit OK, if I do have a mobile printer, it's going to come right up to my print page. Okay, and as you can see here, it has my sales order number, my invoice number, and then the signature that was captured if I printed this out. If I want to email it, all I have to do is go to my open invoices. I can find the invoice that was created. If I hit the send button, it's going to give me the opportunity to email, print, or print email. And I do have an example that I did earlier that I emailed out. So here's an emailed copy. When a customer gets it, it comes as an HTML and as a PDF. And this is the PDF copy that it looks like. There's the invoice, invoice number, and signature. Now, these signatures, just so you know, are saved back in Sage under the Mass 90 folder, under the images of that particular company. So we're right at about 30 minutes, as I promised. If there are any other questions, we'll go ahead and answer those. We have about 2 minutes to answer those. Here's my contact information. If you need anything else, we'll be reaching out shortly. All right. Lots of questions coming through. So first question is, devices, yes. So you do have the full ability to use iOS and Android, tablets and phones. Obviously, anything with a cellular connection with a data plan, we fully recommend. Another good question. So if you're familiar with the Sage bundles, Sage does have a complete bundle with the mobility module. Now, if you have the 100C platform, it comes with an extra set of things. So the standard mobility for barcode module with a complete bundle, if you do not have Sage 100C, does come with 5 free Scanco mobility licenses. That's separate than our warehouse software. These are physical count only. It's a separate application altogether. Support's done through Sage, or you have the ability to have an SLA contract with Scanco for that. If you have the 100C, it does come with 5 free Scanco Sales licenses. The only difference is the free version does not have the proof of delivery invoicing functionality or payment functionality when we do release that. That's something you can add on. But it's easy to add on users, et cetera, just get the full plan at that point. And it does work, and it will work with multi-bin, the standard version that we have. All right, well, there's a lot more questions, but I do want to get you out of here on time. Again, thank you so much. We look forward to seeing you next month. Have a great day.